What is up, guys? So this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Supergirl Season 3, Episode 10, titled Legion of Superheroes. But before the breakdown, let's watch the trailer.
Stay with me, Kara. Stay with me.
Rain defeated you.
Rain is still out there. People are dying. I have to wake up.
Supergirl. All new episodes return Monday, January 15th on the CW.
So this looks like what I've been waiting for a while now. Just looking at this trailer, it's what I've been waiting for just because Rain herself is the things I was most excited for in this episode were Rain and also the Legion of Superheroes. Now this episode is chock full of both of those things. Rain is obviously on her rampage through National City now that Supergirl is in a coma, and the Legion of Superheroes have to come together and stop her. Now right here you see 3 Legionnaires with rings on, and one of them, obviously there's Mon-el in the middle, and then Saturn Girl on the right, but on the left, that is probably Brainiac 5. No other Legionnaire, no other Legion of Superheroes member has been cast yet, and this guy is clearly not human. His hand is blue, so that's obviously Brainiac 5. The only thing that makes me think that it's not Brainiac 5 is that the guy's blue. Because in the comics and in every single TV show he's ever appeared in, like Justice League and Legion of Superheroes, he's been green. He's green and usually has blonde hair, so it's really weird they made him blue. Like, they've made some big changes to the Legion of Superheroes, some that I don't like, but all of them made sense just because of the whole storyline, and they wanted to change it to be more Supergirl-centered than Superman. But the thing I just don't get is why make him blue? Just why? I don't get it. It's the same thing as Supergirl's heat vision. Why make it blue? It's red, and Brainiac is green. He always has been. Now, Brainiac 8, or what was her name? I don't remember her name, but Brainiac 8 on Supergirl was blue, and that was fine because, I mean, that's Brainiac 8. She's such a minor character. I don't think I've ever heard of her, and she's 7 updates away from Brainiac, or 8, I guess, so it makes sense that they changed her color. But Brainiac 5 is only 5 updates away, so... But really, that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that Brainiac 5 is a much more major character than Brainiac 8. And to make him blue makes no sense. Now, he's not fully blue. He's kind of like bluish, grayish, which I don't get it. Just make him green. It just makes sense to make him green. It doesn't make any sense to make him blue, because he's not blue. I know I just went on a whole rant about how he's blue, but the thing is, I'm still really excited for this. The things they're wearing, the Legion flight rings, they're pretty self-explanatory. They allow you to fly, so from now on, Brainiac 5, Saturn Girl, and Mon-el have the ability to fly when they're wearing this ring. Mon-el wasn't able to fly before. He was just able to jump up high, but now with the Legion flight ring, he could fly. It's just like how in the Legion of Superheroes TV show, Superman was still learning how to fly, so he couldn't really, he could just jump. But when he was wearing the Legion flight ring, he was able to fly no problem. So you don't even need to practice when you're wearing this thing. You could just fly. And I think that's really cool. But from now on, these 3 characters will be able to fly. And these rings look really cool, and they're probably the most comic book accurate aspect of the entire Legion of Superheroes in general, because that's exactly how they look in the comics. Speaking of the Legion flight ring, I just noticed something. So, in like season 1 of Supergirl and James were in the Fortress of Solitude, like Superman's Fortress of Solitude. While they were walking, they passed through a Legion ring. They saw a Legion ring. This wasn't the first time we saw a Legion ring. We saw one on the Flash season 1, but that was through some sort of flash to the future, which means that Flash will actually meet the Legion of Superheroes in the future, which is fair. That could happen literally any time in the future, maybe in like 15 years. It could happen. It could really happen whenever. But when Supergirl was in the Fortress of Solitude, she saw a Legion ring, which means that Superman has already met the Legion of Superheroes. He already went to the future, or the Legion of Superheroes already came to the past and had some adventures with Superman, and he became either just an honorary member or just a member in general, and he got a ring, which means that the Legion we know now already had adventures with Superman, which is really cool, because the main thing I had a problem with all these changes to the Legion is that instead of Superman being the inspiration for the Legion, Supergirl is. Now, granted, that may still be the case, but they just never came back to Supergirl. They just had adventures with Superman before Supergirl, and Supergirl is still the inspiration. That might be the case, and it probably is, but it validates it a little when we know that Superman already had adventures with the Legion before Supergirl did, just because the Legion has always been a Superman story and not a Supergirl story. So the change really bugged me, but this, it fixes it a little bit. But it's also really cool that, in general, Superman already had adventures with them. I hope that seeing the rings, Supergirl saw the ring in the fortress, so I hope when she sees these rings, she remembers that ring, and somehow because of that, she go ask Superman what this is about. That would be great. That would be a really great way to have Superman in this show, because, I mean, it happens a lot of ways you could just easily bring Superman in the show, because he's in another city, but he could just fly here in 3 seconds. So just bring him over. You barely have to explain it. But this would be, if they have to come up with a way to explain it, this would be a great way to just have Supergirl remember the rings that are in the Fortress of Solitude, and then she goes to the Fortress of Solitude or to Superman to ask what the Legion is about. Now, everything I just said about Superman and the Legion and the flight rings can just be totally negated by the concept of time travel. And considering that the Legion is all about time travel, this is very possible. You can just say that the Legion, the version of the Legion that Superman met up with and had adventures with and got this flight ring from, can just be a future version of the one on Supergirl Season 3, which is very possible. And I really hope they don't explain this away using time travel, just because I want Superman to be more connected to the Legion than he is right now, which is not at all, other than the flight ring which he has in his fortress. But, moving on. Now, I've said before that I think the Legion came here for a reason. Like, Mon-el and Saturn told the DEO that they came here by accident. But the chances of that are so low that I think they came here on purpose. But they put the ship right under that bomb, which they knew was going to be there, on purpose to make it look like they came out on accident. That's my theory. And the reason I think they came here is so that Supergirl doesn't die. I think she's supposed to die here according to their timeline or something. But they came here to fix the timeline, which is have Supergirl not die and go defeat Reign. That's my prediction, and my prediction is that that's going to be revealed here. So they somehow, with some kind of technology, stop Supergirl from dying or take her out of the coma. Or maybe Supergirl is in a coma for the entirety of the Reign rampage, and once she wakes up, the world is already gone, so the Legion has to wake Supergirl up to stop that. But just thinking of that theory wouldn't really make any sense, because Superman's right there. They could just go get Superman, have him defeat Reign with the Legion's help. They probably could. And also Martian Manhunter, it won't be that hard. But still, I think they might do this, that they come back from the future and they came here on purpose to help the DEO battle Reign. Also, looking at Brainiac 5's character description, it says he comes back from the future to help Supergirl and the DEO fight Reign. So why would he come back on purpose if Mon-el and Saturn Girl got here by mistake? So I definitely think all three of them came here on purpose, and they came here with a mission, and that's to defeat Reign, or help Supergirl and the DEO defeat Reign. You could probably tell this because I just talked about them for 6 minutes, but I am really excited for the Legion of Superheroes. Like, I am genuinely excited to see these guys in action, despite all the changes they've made, because they've made a lot of changes, and the most glaring one is that Brainiac 5 is grayish, bluish. Despite all these changes, I am still hyped as hell for the Legion of Superheroes, and also, that's not the only thing I'm hyped for in this episode. I'm also hyped for Reign. Basically, in general, this episode looks really good, and I'm really excited for this episode. So I just talked about the Legion of Superheroes a lot. There's really nothing I could say about anything else in this episode, like Reign and Supergirl. Just the fact that I think Supergirl will wake up in this episode, and I think Reign will somehow be taken down in this episode using like the team up between Supergirl and the Legion. And then throughout the season, some storyline happens that Reign gets free of the prison they put her in, which is probably Fort Ross, because the next episode is called Fort Ross. And then she gets out and fights the Legion of Superheroes and Supergirl again, and then you have this awesome big battle at the end, which is the season finale. That's what I'm predicting. I just think Supergirl will wake up, team up with the Legion, and defeat Reign in this episode. That's a lot. That's just a lot to put in one episode. But considering the next episode is called Fort Roz, I think that Supergirl will put her in Fort Roz by the beginning of next episode. But what do you think about this trailer? Let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.